Hey,
About the Yankees games.
oh, Yankee fans. Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I went to see my first Yankee game with my brother John and Ghost. Ghost was Bill Foster. We called him Ghost because his skin was white. And we it was one couple of days before a Sunday game, and this had to be somewhere around 1943, somewhere around there. And he says, "Come on, you want? I'll take you to a ball game." So he said, "Yeah, oh, we'd love to." So the three of us went to our first Yankee game, and we learned that you could get there was only reserved seats and maybe a couple of boxes, but we'd run up to the third deck in Yankee Stadium, and usually we'd get the same seats all the time because we were waiting for the box office to open. Okay, now. The other thing was to get to the Yankee Stadium. We'd have to go to, and my mother watched us like a hawk. We had to go to church on a Sunday morning, and my mother would make us a brown bag, whatever it was, bologna or whatever. We didn't get roast beef in those days, didn't know what that was. And we'd go to 28th Street, get on the local train, and take it to either 34th or 42nd Street, and get on the express. The Woodlawn Road, Jerome Avenue line. How do I remember that? But I do. And then we'd start the way up from 34th to 42nd to 86 to 128 to 130. Oh, it was just watching the stations come. And the last stop before we got to the stadium was 149th Street. And up until that point, everything was underground. When you left 149th, the stadium was on 161st Street and River Avenue. And what happened, the train would start, the subway would start to climb a hill. And we were in next to the motorman. That was our job, to get to the first car so we could look out the window and see what we wanted to see. And as we got up a little higher, we could see the light. And the subway would come out, and we'd look to the left, and there was Yankee Stadium. The flags were flying. It was just a beautiful sight and a great time to spend a couple of hours to watch a ball game. And in those days, the Yanks were probably the best team in baseball. Not probably, they were. And it was after the game. They did something different. After the game, we'd go down from the third deck where we always sat. And they allowed you to go on the field because that was like a shortcut to get the subway. And they would climb over the little fence, and all of the people would head over the field. But you know something? Unlike the kids and maybe the people today, they would see the bases still on the field. They would touch them, and they'd walk off or touch the grass. You never saw them pull the grass. You never try to see anybody steal. They just revered that place. It was the biggest thrill that anybody could have. It was the biggest stadium in the United States. And then we'd get onto the subway and come home. So that was the end of that trip.
How much did it cost?
$1.25. Yeah, we had no reserved seats. So when we got there early after coming from church. And we were one or two or three or four people in line. So the minute we got our tickets, general admission, bam, we'd run up the stairs, not the stairs, the ramp, till we got to the third deck. And then, I mean, we had our choice of seats. And there wasn't a place on that stadium field that we couldn't see from our first base seats. It was just beautiful.